So again, I'm Ted.Thomas, and all I'm going to ask you to do is kind of open up your mind, and then we're going to move forward. So I'm going to start out, and I'll start out actually with a little video. But before I do that, I just want to tell you, we're working with the internet here, and we're pushing this out across the internet very quickly. But people are in all different parts of the world. So I don't know where you might be listening to us or watching right now. But it might take a little bit for that video to get there. It'll get there, but sometimes it slows down just a little bit. But you'll get the audio right away. So don't panic. There's nothing wrong with your computer. Just sit back and enjoy all this. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't say sit back right away. It'd probably be a good idea if you just got a pencil and paper so that you can write down those questions or ask someone there that's in the room with you to grab you a pencil and paper. Okay, so I'll start out with a short video. If it doesn't immediately get there, don't worry. It will come in a couple of seconds. It usually takes as long as 7 seconds for the video to get out there. And people get all nervous because we're so used to television that's coming through the cable system. We're not going through the cable system. We're coming across the internet. So welcome aboard. This is going to be a fun time.
Fantastic. It's a dream come true.
This seminar, one of the things I'm finding is that there's a lot of meat and potatoes. Ted has, not only does he give you the meat and potatoes, but he brings up other people that have done it, and they share their experiences.
I would describe it as education you can't get anywhere else. Unequivocally, this is the best seminar that I have ever been at, and far and away the best money I've ever spent.
This is some of the best value for the money I've ever seen in a seminar, ever.
I couldn't have done what I'm doing now without hearing what I learned. What's our house worth?
Our house is, comparables in this area are worth 170 to 190.
170, and you bought it for how much at auction?
$21,500. Yeah. We bought this property for $12,000, and the tax assessed value on it is $27,800.
Yeah. What do you think it's really worth?
The realtors have told us it's in the low 30s, 32 to 35. So we'll sell it for $27,800 to the investor we've already got lined up.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna double your money on this little house?
Yeah.
I was interested, curious, but I couldn't find the information anywhere else. So when I heard about Ted's class, I decided to take it.
But I've been to many seminars, but never have I been to one that has offered me so much information toward achieving my financial goals as this one has.
No, it's an education that you can't get anywhere else.
Computer paper, this thousands of properties that you could pick in. What's an example of a property that you bought?
Here's a piece of property that I paid $357 for. It's a 10-acre tract of land. Agricultural land. Here's my check that I sold it for 30 days ago. $6,000? $1,000.
Invested $2,900, free and clear. There's no mortgage on this property. There's no liens, no taxes to pay, and now it's valued at $55,000, $60,000, and it's yours.
That's correct.
Free and clear.
Okay, so just open up your mind, and you're going to be amazed at what's going to happen here, because what I'm going to do is show you how to have a lot more security in your life. And we're going to do this with a government-controlled monopoly. Now, you can't buy these from me. You can't buy them from a broker, so I'm just going to teach you how to do it. I'm here to teach you that. So we're going to go through that as a step-by-step process. But when we talk about tax lien certificates, where you can make rates of return that are guaranteed rates, the rates are guaranteed by the local county. They could be 16%, 18%, all the way up to 36% interest. Now, kind of open your mind, let this new information come in, because the bank rates are 1% right now. So when you start talking about 18%, that sounds some pretty big rates of return. So you'll discover how you can do this without any money, and you'll discover how to do it as a very secured investment, because a tax lien certificate is a secured investment. It's secured by the actual real estate. Okay, now we're going to talk about government tax certificates, okay? Now this is just a certificate that's issued if someone doesn't pay their tax. So let's kind of walk through that process. On the left, you can see a home, okay? Now I don't know what your home value is, but let's just use the value of $250,000, okay? Generally speaking, taxes are about 1%. Now, they'll be higher in some areas, but just for our example, just use the 1%. So that 1% is owed to the local county, which you can see up on the top of that slide is the government center. So that's your local county or your local municipality. So every property, it doesn't matter whether it's a ranch, it could be a farm, it could be a commercial building, it could be a little garage, whatever it might be, has a tax that's due to the local county. Now, the local counties have a problem if people don't pay the tax. Now, across the United States, I have a lot of huge databases, so I know about this, but there's round numbers, there's 100 million properties. About 3% of the people won't pay their tax. Now, things go wrong in people's lives. They have accidents, they have a new baby, the roof leaks, whatever. They don't get their property tax paid. So that means that local county is going to have a shortage. Now, if you really look at that diagram, what the county is going to do is they're going to issue a certificate. It's just a piece of paper about the size that would come out of your computer printer by you, right next to your computer, okay? Now that certificate has value because what you do is you can buy that certificate. In other words, pay someone else's taxes. And if you'll do that, you now have a secured interest in that property. Now those certificates will pay an interest rate of 16%, 18%, all the way up to 36% interest. Okay, the certificate is guaranteed, the rate is guaranteed by the local county. Now only two things can happen with the certificate. You'll either get paid or you'll get that property. You will either get paid or get that property. Now I know that sounds bizarre, but just kind of hang in there and learn this process because this has been around for over 100 years. Matter of fact, closer to 200 years. Okay, so when you pay someone else's taxes, you now have this secured position and you own the first priority lien on the property. Now, I know your mortgage broker told you, or maybe you are a mortgage broker or a broker. You think that the deed of trust or you think the mortgage is the first lien. It's not the first lien. Taxes are always the first lien on property. If you don't believe me, ask your county or ask a title company, and it's right in the title report. Taxes are always first. Now you own the tax certificate. That gives you power. Okay, you won't need that power because 97% of these certificates, in some cases 99% of the certificates will pay off. In other words, people will come in and pay their tax, but they're going to come late. When they come late, they're going to give you back all your money plus that high rate of return. All right, so stay with me and we'll kind of walk our way through this process. So I already said you now own the priority lien of the property. In other words, you're in front of that mortgage. So what I'm really going to teach you about today is I'm going to teach you about the safest and the most lucrative investment in America today. Safest and most lucrative. Now, how can I say that? Because you can't invest with me, you can't invest with a broker, you can't invest with a banker. You're going to invest your money directly with the government. And when you get a check back, you're going to get your money back from the government plus that high rate of return, okay? So I call that the safest investment in America today. All right, now what about these rates? These rates are locked in. The day you buy the certificate, you know what your rate is. It doesn't go up and it doesn't go down. It doesn't do any of that business that you would find with commercial rates or bank rates or anything like that. When you buy that certificate, you know exactly the rate that you pay. And it could be as low as, the lowest I've ever seen is 8%. The highest I've seen is 50%. But generally speaking, and I'll demonstrate all this to you as we go along, 16, 18, 24%. So you're kind of getting the idea. All right. Now that's a secured certificate. Keep in mind, it's secured by that real estate. So you'll either get paid or you will get the real estate. Now that's the law. It's the law in every single county and every municipality across America. All right, so let's talk about the stock market just for a second. I like the stock market, but the stock market goes up and the stock market goes down. Up and down, up and down. If you're an investor who just wants a nice straight rate of return, then that's what you'll get in these kind of certificates, okay? So I'm not negative on the stock market. As a matter of fact, I'm a real estate guy, and I have been for 40 years. Challenge is what's been happening in real estate in the past few years. And here in Florida, I've seen the market drop as much as 70%, very similar to what happened to Las Vegas, what happened over in Phoenix. It didn't happen too badly in Texas or the middle part of the country, but some people have lost 30, 40, 50% in their real estate. Now, is it coming back? Well, let's hope it is coming back. But I can tell you right now, the figures are out. There's 9 million properties still in foreclosure. 9 million in this great country is still in foreclosure. All right, so I'm not negative in real estate, but that's a long-term play, that's for sure. All right, so some people make money every time. That's where I want you to be. You want to be making money every time. So you want to learn about these certificates because these certificates always go up. Why do they always go up? Because that interest rate is accumulating every single year when you own one of those certificates. So when you buy this certificate, if it goes into the second year, you'll get paid that one. If you pay the tax, you'll get it on that, and that. As long as you own that certificate, you'll be making paydays on it, okay? Now, I didn't make the rules. I'm just bringing you the message. So keep in mind, if I say something you don't like, you say, oh, that Ted.Thomas is crazy. Well, I am crazy, and I'm crazy about these certificates. There's no doubt about it. And there's going to be millions of these available. I said millions. Now, there's going to be 2.5 to 3 million properties that will default on real estate this year. 2.5 to 3 million. It's been that way ever since I've been in the business, and I've been at this for 20 years. All right, so let's do a quick review. Every property has a value. The value means they're going to assess tax based on that value, and it's owed to the local county. Now, the local county could be a municipality. Either one, they're both a taxing district. If they don't get paid, they're going to issue tax certificates. That's one business. But I'm going to teach you two businesses. The other business is half of the states don't sell those tax certificates. They just auction the property. In other words, the property owner doesn't pay, they auction that property off for the back taxes. And when they auction the property off, they wipe out the mortgage. Now, if I just shook you in your chair a little bit, yes, they wipe out the mortgage. It's the law in every county, and I'll explain that as we go along. Okay, so this system's been around for a long, long time. All right, so it's automatic, and it's the law that the county will put you in first lien position. So keep that in the back of your mind. So you're going to get this nice certificate. You're now in first lien position. You'll either get paid or you're going to get the property. Simple as that. All right, now let's go around the country. I won't cover every state, but let's give you some idea of what takes place here so that you kind of get the feel for this. So I'm going to start out in Arizona. So let's say you went to Arizona and you just raise your hand, like I'm raising my hand now. You just raise your hand up in the air. You want to buy a certificate, okay? Now, certificates in Arizona, they pay, their maximum rate is 16%. So that means if you bought a certificate today, this day here, that would start the clock like on 60 minutes going tick, tick, tick. And let's say that certificate stayed outstanding for the whole year, was not paid for the whole year. At the end of the year, the people that had that property would now owe you whatever you paid plus 16%. Now, could that roll into the next year? Yes, it could roll it because maybe they don't pay the next year. But if they pay you off, you're going to get all your money back plus 16%. All right, so that's Arizona. Let's go and learn another state. Now, this is Illinois. Now, in Illinois, same situation. You bought the certificate today, starts the clock like on 60 minutes ticking. If it ticks out for 6 months, in that 6 months, look at the rate of return, 18%. But Ted, what if they don't pay me? Well, then it go another 6 months, you earn 36%. Now, I didn't make the rules. I'm just bringing you the message. So when I bring you this message, this all comes from government records. It's all the statutes of the state. It's all the statutes of the county. Now, I'm not going to give you a law class here. Well, first of all, I'm not an attorney, so I couldn't do that. But it's not a law class, but I've done this for a lot of years, and I've got all these pretty well nailed down. Now, Georgia is my favorite state, and I'll come back and show you that in a minute. Now, in Georgia, if you raise your hand like I'm doing now, I just raise my hand up there. I want that certificate. When I buy the certificate, I pay someone's taxes. Now, any day from day 1 to day 360, any day that they want to come in and pay those taxes, any day they come in, they have to pay me back all of my money. Listen to what I'm saying. You get back all of your money plus 20%. Is that a good rate of return? You're darn right. It's a great rate of return. Now, let's look. It started day 1, and then it's just day 365. Well, what if they come in day 20? If they come in day 20 and pay you, you get all your money plus 20%. If they come in day 300, doesn't matter what day they come in, whatever day they come in, you get back all your money plus 20%. So Georgia's a fantastic place to do that. All right, now let's go to Iowa. Now, Iowa, if you raise your hand and buy a certificate, that starts the clock ticking that I talked about, like the one on 60 minutes, tick, 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 like that. It starts it ticking. Now, for every month that those people don't pay their tax, for every single month they don't pay you, you earn 2% a month. Now, compare that with a local bank. 2% a month. You're lucky to get 2% a year at the bank. 2% a month for every month that the certificate is outstanding. Now, you'll kind of chuckle when I say this, but when you buy one of these certificates, you're going to start saying in your brain, you're going to say, I'm going to pray they don't pay, because you don't want them to get paid, because you want that interest rate to keep accruing. Because when they pay you, the interest rate stops. You can go back and buy another certificate if you want, but you want the certificate to stay outstanding so that you can make this money. That's what you're after. All right, so that was Iowa, 2% or 24% a year. That's a heck of a rate of return. All right, let's just do one more. Now, this is Texas. Now, in Texas, you buy the certificate today, the clock goes tick, tick, tick like this. It can go all the way for 6 months, 180 days. Now, listen close. In 180 days, if you bought that certificate, any day they want, they can come in and pay you. Any day when they come in and pay, they're going to give you back all of your money. I said all of your money back, plus 25%. That's a dynamite rate of return. All right, but if it gets to 181st day and they haven't paid you, now you take the property. You take the property at the 181st day. Now, I didn't make these rules. These are the rules, and they're different in every state. They're different in every county. That's why we teach it, because there's different ways to do it in different places. But you're getting the idea. Now, this system's been around for over 100 years. Everything I'll teach you today is part of the law. Everything I'll teach you will be part of the law, okay? I'm not making it up. All right, now let's take a look at the screen. I said Georgia was my favorite state. Now, the reason I like Georgia is I said if I bought a certificate today, any day up to 365, they come in, they pay me 20%. Well, if they get to 365 and they haven't paid me, I'm allowed by law to foreclose and take the property from them. But I tell my students, and I'm telling you, don't take that property. Let that certificate roll into the next year, because in year number 2 in Georgia, the certificate pays 30%. In year number 3, it pays 40%. In year number 4, it pays 50%. I hope you're getting the idea. This is a powerful investment environment, okay? And you can't buy them from me. This is a government monopoly. You're going to have to learn how to do this. You're going to have to learn to pay them. Are you going to do this automatic? Forget it. You're going to have to learn how to do this. Once you learn it, you can do it for the rest of your life. I have people I'll show you people before you finish that have been with me doing this for 12 and 15 years. I'm going to show you people that are doing it. And they do 6 or 8 of these a year. They make themselves a nice living. All right, quick review. Every property has a tax. It's always owed to the county. If the people don't pay the tax, the county will issue a tax certificate, or they'll sell the property at auction. They'll issue a certificate, or they'll sell the property at auction. Okay, and I'm going to teach you both ways to do that, because sometimes you can buy a property for 5 and 10 cents on the dollar. I'm going to show you if you had to buy $1 million worth for 8 cents on the dollar. I'll show you that live today before we finish. All right, so who does this? Well, you're going to do it pretty soon, but rich people have been doing this for decades, and that's why you don't know about it, because they're not going to go out and tell you about it. But rich people have been doing this for decades. It's been around. There's going to be 2.5 million of these auctions. There's going to be 5,000 auctions take place, but 2.5 million to 3 million properties will go in some kind of default on taxes this year. I'm not talking about mortgages now. I'm talking about taxes. Okay, so this is a beautiful slide. So read it slowly to yourself. The government gives you the right to receive all the money back. That's right. You get all your money back, or you get the property. I didn't make that rule. The government made the rule. The local government wants their tax money. So that's your guarantee that comes right from the government. Now, I call it a guarantee, but it's the government rule. That's the way it is. So what we really looked at and learned so far is this is a system that was created so that the local government could quickly collect money on taxes, because people are slow to pay taxes. Now, I don't like paying them any more than you do, but don't let your property tax go, because you can lose your property. I'll show you what happens with this property tax money. All right, so the tax collector can pay you all the way up to 36%. It's just going to depend upon which state that you decide to buy that. All right, now the question in your mind right now is just saying, wait a minute, Ted, why on earth is the government selling these certificates? Because when you look at your property tax bill, your property tax bill pays the things that I've listed there. So let's start on the bottom and work our way up. There would be no local schools without property tax. There would be no police. There would be no fire, no hospitals. So all those things are paid for by the local property tax. So the schools would have to shut down. So what the local government does is they have a tax lien certificate auction, or they have a property tax defaulted auction. They have one or the other, and it's happening in your community, and it's happening in 3,200 counties. As a matter of fact, it's happening in 3,200 counties and 1,450 municipalities. That's why I can tell you there's 5,000 of these auctions. There's one happening in your backyard. You just don't know it. And maybe you want to go to that one, and maybe you want to go to some of the other ones that I'm going to. It doesn't matter. Okay, so why haven't the brokers told you about this? Well, there's nothing wrong with the brokers. The brokers are interested in making money, but they're really interested in making commissions. There's no commissions on these. So what's a broker going to do? They're going to say, oh, why don't you buy a mutual fund, or buy a penny stock, or buy a high-tech stock? They're not going to talk to you about these. Why should they? They can't make any money. You have to learn this one yourself. Okay, well, how about your banker? Has your banker told you about it? Probably not. Credit union told you? Well, they're not. They know about it because, you see, the tax certificate is the first lien on the property. It's actually, there's no way they're going to tell you about it. So the banks, and now slowly some of the hedge funds are putting more money into this daily. Why? Because they realize the amount of profits they can make. So every one of you can, and we'll show you how to do it and not have them, those groups as competitors. Okay, so if you just came on, I don't know when you're coming on the call, I could go over there and look and see, but I will stay after I finish this presentation, because some of you are going to have questions. And we got a chat box. You guys can write as many questions in that chat box as you want. And then when I finish, what we'll do is we'll go to the chat box, and I'll answer all those questions if there is some. Because I have to get through the presentation for the people that already made other plans for the day. But the rest of you that are really interested and going to do this, I know you have questions. So I'll hang in there and do as many questions or answers to your questions as I can. Okay, so I don't know what the biggest problem you're facing now, but my guess is it's cash flow. Most people that come on these calls, they say, Ted, I want to improve my cash flow. So I'm going to show you ways to do that. I'm also going to show you a way to increase the security of your life. You see, these tax certificates are predictable, they're certain, and they're secure. You might want to write that down. I tell people put a PCS on your paper. Predictable, certain, and secure. That's what I love about this investment. I come from a different investment environment where I took a lot of risk in the past. I'm out of the risk business. I only want to do things that are predictable, certain, and secure. So you're kind of getting the idea that this guy's going to show us some stuff that's a little unusual, but there's a lot of things in life that are unusual. All right, so let me give you a little bit more background. First of all, you understand the graphic there. Now, I haven't been to all 3,200 counties in the United States, but I have been to about 250 of them. And when I get to the county, first thing I do is I go to the treasurer's office or the tax collector's office. I say, look, if I send my people to your county to buy, are they going to get their money back? And that's a big concern everybody has today in the market. You know, we're going to get my money back. You know, so you can go a lot of years not making money, but you can't go very many years if you're losing money. And all of those county commissioners and the board of supervisors and the tax collectors, they all tell me the same thing. You probably want to write it down. It's right there on the bottom of your screen. 95 to 97% of all the tax certificates pay you back your money in 24 months. So let me say that again. 95 to 97% of all the certificates will pay you back all your money and give you a profit in less than 24 months. Now think about what I just said. That's a 95 to 97% assurance that you're going to get paid. So some of you are sitting there saying, well, wait a minute, Ted, there's 3% of us that are not going to get paid. And that's absolutely right. Some of you won't get paid. Because you see, if a person doesn't pay, you'll get the property. So you'll have to make up your mind. You want the property? Well, of course you do. If you want the property for back taxes, would that be a good price to pay? When that property comes to you, it won't have a mortgage because the local government wipes out the mortgage when that takes place. That's the rule, and I'll show you how that happens in the next few minutes. Okay, so you're getting the idea. This is a pretty savvy investment. It's predictable, it's certain, and it's secure. Remember, there's two businesses here. One business, we're going to buy tax lien certificates. The other business, we're going to get properties for 10 and 20 cents on the dollar. I'll demonstrate both before we finish the day. All right, this slide is black and white. Now, I made it black and white so I can make the point. So read the center of the slide. I don't make the rules, but I'm reading the rules. You either get paid on a certificate or you get the property. When you get the property, it's without a mortgage. All right, so let me take you and show you some examples of people making money. I have a friend who lives in Phoenix, Arizona. His name is Dave. Dave called me on the telephone. He said, Ted, I just put $2,000 in my savings account. And I said, well, why did you do that? He said, well, I'm 35 today and I want to retire when I'm 55. I said, I got it. And I said, all right, so you put $2,000 bank. What's your bank pay? And I thought he was going to say 1%. He said, oh, my bank's paying 3.75. I said, there's no way. The banks are paying what? He said, well, I got a special deal we worked out with the bank. I said, okay, so you're going to get 3.75. He said, yes. I said, okay, great. So you put the money in the bank now. What's it going to be worth in 20 years? He said, oh, I don't know. I said, all right, well, let's figure it out. So I just got a calculator. I put $2,000. That was an investment, 3.75. I figured it out for 1 year. Then I went ahead and figured it out for 20 years. Well, in 20 years, his $2,000 investment is going to be worth a whopping $4,129. And that's not a very good investment. I don't think it's going to do very well. Now, if we add inflation to that, well, then it's not going to be worth very, very much at all, is it? All right, so this is a problem that a lot of people are having. If they're a retiree or they're trying to keep money in the bank or whatever, they got a big challenge. Matter of fact, you'd have to have like $1 million in the bank at 1% to get, what, $10,000 a year. That's about, what, $800 a month. So that's not a very good investment. Then if you take into account that according to the Federal Reserve, you have about 8% manufacturing of money, well, you're losing a lot. So you can see my second paragraph there. If you lose 7% a year on your investment, what's your $100,000 worth after 10 years? Well, it's worth about $30,000. At least your buying power. So that's not very good. So here's what I told my friend Dave. I said, Dave, look, why don't you take that same $2,000 that you put in the bank, and why don't you buy some Arizona certificates? And you guys probably remember Arizona certificates paid 16%. You might remember I mentioned that earlier. He said, well, what would happen? I said, well, you invest your money in those certificates, and they pay you off. They usually pay off within 2 years. Okay, when they pay you off, then you can reinvest it. He said, oh, can I just buy them and then reinvest? I said, buy them, then do it again, and you can do it again. He said, well, what if I did that and I did it for 20 years? What would it be worth? I said, well, it won't be let's see what he had. He was going to have 4,100. I said, well, if you invested 16%, you're going to have 30,000. So it's the same $2,000 investment, but now it's worth 30,000. I think you're starting to get the picture here. But most people are afraid. They're so nervous. Because they don't want anybody to break their heart with that investment. I understand that. This investment's not going to let you down. So let's just take another county. Remember, this investment, you invest with the county, you're going to get a check back from the county. Not from Ted, not from a broker, not from an attorney, not from a title company. You're going to invest with the county, you're going to get a check back from the county. All right, so let's go to Iowa. And we'll use the same example with Dave. Remember Dave had $2,000? Well, now why don't we invest it at 24%? 24%, because that's what they pay in Iowa. Let's see what that would figure out to be. Same Same money, except now the higher interest. Now it'd be $120,000. Okay, well, this is kind of Donald Trump kind of money because we're just rolling the money over is all we're doing. But you make a small investment, but he's got a high interest rate. I'm sure you guys got the idea. All right, so this is a pretty powerful investment idea. Now, here's how you can make it tax deductible if you wanted to. If you had your own individual retirement program, or if you're from the provinces of Canada, your own RRSP, then what you can do is you could invest and have an IRA in the States, and what you can do is put the money in the IRA and let the IRA make the investment. Then any growth that it has, you don't have to pay tax on. You don't have to pay tax until you take it out. So why not do the investment either in your pension plan or your IRA plan or whatever? I hope you're getting the idea what I'm doing here. I'd love it. I love to make my investments in what I call a profit sharing plan, which is the same thing. If the profit sharing plan has money, then whatever investment I make, if it grows, I don't have to pay tax. Is that good? That's great. All right. Okay, so what I said a minute ago was if you invest in Iowa certificates, $2,000, and then every time it paid off, you reinvested it, it could be all the way up to $120,000 at the end of 20 years. Now, all they made was one $2,000 investment. I just kept rolling it over. But now it's making some money because it's doing it at 24%. You can do the same thing. These certificates are available in all the counties, or at least half of the counties in the United States. The other half of the counties, you can actually get the property. All right, so let's have a little fun with this thing and see what kind of money we could really make and kind of go for the gold here and at least get some thought processes going in your mind. You don't have to do exactly as I'm suggesting here, but you get the idea. So how would it be if I could just show you how to have, say, $300,000 20 years from now? $300,000 20 years from now. So all I'm going to ask you to do is just kind of do it with me. Just kind of play along with me and kind of do it, and then you'll see how this investment really expands out and takes care of you, okay? Now, I know what you're interested in. You want to reinvent yourself, or many of you. Most of you need more cash flow. So if you want to start small, you can start with $2,000 bucks. But if you have $10,000 in your account right now, you can do this tomorrow afternoon. So let's say you started out with $2,000. So the next 5 years, you put $2,000 into the same investment, which is going to be these tax certificates. All right, so you end up with $10,000. Now, if you can visualize my picture right here, and in front of me is all these $100 bills stacked all the way up to the ceiling. There's 10,000 of them in there, okay? We're going to invest those in Iowa certificates. Now, there's millions of these to buy, so you don't have to worry about they're going to run out. They're not going to run out. All right, so you're going to buy $10,000 invested at 24%. What is that going to be? Well, first of all, I made a promise, so I've got to go back and look at the promise. My promise was I'd show you how to have $300,000. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so now we invested $10,000 at 24%, and then every time those certificates pay off, remember they pay off every 2 years, every time they pay off, you're just going to reinvest it. Now, I want you to do that for 20 years, and let's see if we can get to 300. But my math is it's off a little bit, so not right on. If you do what it says on that screen, you're going to end up with, yeah, 600,000. So look, if I'm 75% off, are you better off than you are at the bank? If I'm 50% off, are you better off? If it happens just like we just talked about, how are you feeling about all that? Well, I bet you feel pretty darn good. Well, how would your family feel about it? They're probably saying, hey, when's the old guy going to kick off? Yeah, because you'd have a bunch of money. Would that give you a little bit more security? All right, that's what I love about these certificates. They're predictable, they're certain, and they're secure. Anybody can buy them. You can buy them in all the counties that they're available. All right, so let's do a quick review. What have we learned so far? We learned how to do it with tax deductions, because you can do this in your IRA. And we learned the power of money. Really, we learned the power of interest rate, okay? That's what we learned. So just think about this for a second. If you had $2,000 and you did it for 5 years in a row, at the end of that period of time, you got $10,000 and you invested in those certificates, you can end up with $500,000. That's right, you can do that. Okay, if you do half that amount, do half. It doesn't matter. Somewhere in there you're going to start. But the point is, these are predictable, certain, and secure certificates. All right, so let's continue on. All right, now that's a home study course, and I've been teaching people how to do this for a long period of time. And we have everything to teach you how to do it on the internet. We can teach you how to do it physically. We can teach you how to do it with coaches helping you out. We can teach you how to do it in your car. We can teach you using your computer. We have been doing this for a long, long time, teaching people how to do it. So look over on the left and notice what I wrote there. This course requires an investment, and wait till you see what's going to happen as we go along here. All right, so the price that you see on the left will be a frozen price. Remember my frozen price, because when we get finished, you're going to say, holy Toledo, boy, did Ted.Thomas take care of us. All right, so let's continue on. Now, people ask me all the time, how did I get started? Now, I started out 20 years ago, and I started out, at that time, there was no computers. You couldn't do anything on the computer. As a matter of fact, there wasn't any books in the bookstore even. and no one was running classes on it. Now, the reason I got started doing this is I had a big business before. I mean, a big real estate business. My first career was as a pilot. When I found out how much money I could make in business, I said, I'm quitting flying, and I quit flying, and I started a real estate business, except we only bought commercial property and apartments. But that business went to $200 million over a period of less than 15 years. We had 200 employees managing all those apartments. Well, that was a real good business until, as you can see there, 2008. Now, some of you that are watching today are probably old enough to remember the market crash of 2008. It was so severe that over 2,000 banks, now banks closed, 2,000 banks closed between 87 through 89 because the real estate imploded. Well, long story short, I lost everything, but I got a big lesson out of that, big lesson. I said, I'm out of the risk business. I don't want any more risk. I'm not going to get out there and get all those leveraged real estate deals. If I can't pay cash for it, I'm not in the deal. All right, now since recovered, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So this is all about staying out of debt and making sure it's not difficult and not taking risks. Everything I'll talk to you from here on, I'm not in the risk business. So I'm going to teach you how to do this very conservatively. So if you'll start small and work your way up, you'll be able to make plenty of money that you can keep. Now think of what I just said, money that you can keep. That's the important kind of money that you want to have. So the first thing I did is I started calling around to various counties. Now I called counties because I heard through the grapevine that they paid high interest rates. So the first county I called was in Baltimore, Maryland. That was just one little county, but it was Baltimore. And I heard that they paid 24%. So I got a woman on the phone. I said, listen, is this Baltimore County? She said, yes. I said, well, great. I said, I'm interested in buying tax certificates. She said, okay. And I said, could I get a list of those? And she said, oh, of course. She said, I'll send you a catalog. That's right. She actually sent me a catalog. There was just in Baltimore County, there was over 9,000 certificates that were available. Now, I'm going to show you a lot more than that in the next few minutes, but let me shock you right away. In Florida, where I live right now, in Florida, in May, that's the month we're in now, in May of 2014, 1 million property owners will be issued tax lien certificates because 1 million property owners will not have paid their tax. You can buy any one of those certificates you want to buy. That's in every county in Florida. There'll be 1 million just in the state of Florida. Now, I didn't know that when I started. I had not a clue. I didn't know that people didn't pay their taxes. So here I found out I could buy any one of these 9,000 and I could earn 24% of my money. Where can you get 24% in your money that's predictable, certain, and secure? Where can you do that? Yeah, think about what I'm saying. All right, so I learned that I can do that in Baltimore. I said, well, I think I've just discovered a gold mine, so I'm going to check around some other counties. So I called Tampa, Florida. And this is called Hillsborough County. You can see that newspaper. It says Tampa, Florida. That newspaper has no pictures, has no stories in it. That is the list from Tampa, Florida. When I called there, I said, can you send me the list? The woman said, no. I said, why not? She said, so many people have gone in default. It's published in the newspaper. You have to get it by the newspaper. There's 40,000 certificates issued just in Tampa, Florida. That's one county in Florida. I hope you're getting the idea. This is everywhere. If you happen to be in, say, Phoenix, Arizona, I've never seen less than 27,000 just in Maricopa County. I'm not talking about the state. I'm just talking about a county. Okay, 27,000 just in. All right, so let's go to, now, these are auction brochures because half of the states actually sell the property. So New York State, everything west of the Hudson River, everything west of New York City, they actually sell the property. Now take a close look at that brochure. Just get close to the computer. That county, Montgomery County, has 100 properties. Now listen close to what I'm going to say. 100 properties that they will sell to you. The starting bid is the back taxes. I said the starting bid is the back taxes, and they've already wiped out the mortgage. Now take a look. There's not some bad little pictures right there. That's a brochure explaining that. Every county in New York sells those. So I'm in shock when I'm checking this out 20 years ago. Now, you can buy any one of these properties, and I'm actually going to show you people doing it. All right, so I'll give you up close and personal. This is another county in New York, so you can kind of get the idea. Now, kind of look at the brochure. You can see, first of all, it's Sullivan County. You can see the outline of the state of New York. And then look down where it says, in blue, it says auction list. Now, right next to the N, you can see a little black, not a quite square, a little oblong kind of thing. And there's a little, that shows the county that we're talking about. Now, if you were to measure on the map, it's 100 miles from New York City. Can you see Long Island down there? Well, the west end of Long Island is New York City. Now, these properties, all 468 of them, are within 100 miles of New York. And believe it or not, they couldn't sell these properties. I sent people there. I had a woman come to my class in Orlando, and she said, she was from Canada. You'll get a chance to meet her in a minute. She said, what should we do? And I said, what you need to do is just get in the car and drive up to Sullivan County because they have the auction. I told her weekend. And when my class was the first of the month, so she drove up there. I'll show you what happened in a minute. Let's look at the brochure. They have so many properties, it's going to take 2 days to auction them all. Let's look on the right-hand side of the screen. It says minimum bid, back taxes only. Folks, I didn't make this up. This is the way it is, okay? Let's look at the next page of the brochure. Okay, we can see the second day. It shows the auction list. Look all over the left, mortgage-free. So whenever you bid, you get a property mortgage-free. Now take a good look at that outline of New York in the back. You can see that's 100 miles from New York City. They did not sell all the property. They did not sell them because people didn't know about it. Okay, so I sent this couple. This couple came to me, and I have well over 200 counties, 200 customers last year in the Canadian provinces. Because I bring the Canadians here to buy. Because when I give this presentation in Canada, they go crazy. They don't believe it. And so I bring them here to buy. So I'm going to show you what happened to this lady. Now, what I'd like you to do, before I play this, I want you to have a pencil and paper close to you. Now, this is her talking, not me talking. And she's going to tell you what she paid at that auction. And she's going to tell you what it's worth. So listen close. She'll tell you what the property was worth, and she'll tell you what she paid. So let's listen and see if we can learn a lesson here.
I first met Ted last August through Dave Dubois' webinar, and we had decided that we really needed something more for our retirement. And when I saw tax deeds, I really knew that this was something that we could do, and that would work for us.
The first time Joan brought this tax liens and deeds business to my attention, I thought it was just one of those other get-rich-quick schemes that we've seen so many of before. You know, they're always too good to be true until you actually investigate them, and then you know they are. This one here was different. Once we got into the auction part of it itself, the more we researched it, the more we found that it was viable.
We went to our first auction in June, 2 weeks ago, in Sullivan County, New York. And there were 500 properties up for auction, and we ended up buying 4 of them. The first one we got was a single-family home. It was valued at $70,000. We paid $25,000 for it. It has a tenant already in it. She's on renter's assistance, so the government is actually going to pay us $800 a month rent. The second property we bought was 27 acres of land on a beautiful side hill overlooking the river. Forested land. It's divided into 5 lots. It's valued at $175,000, and we paid $12,000 for it. Then we also bought 2 residential lots. They're both about 2 acres, and one we paid $1,000 for, one we paid $600 for. They're both valued at $20,000.
Without taking Ted's course, we'd never have learned how to do tax deeds and liens. We'd heard about it before, but you know, it's very difficult to find the lists of properties that are available, and let alone trying to find which counties have sales on at what time and all that kind of stuff.
But Ted gives us all that information. It's very well laid out. And we're just excited about our future. This is going to give us all of our dreams and hopes fulfilled because we do it together, and the earning potential is unlimited.
Retirement, here we come.
So there you have it. So you guys can be doing the same kinds of things. So it's a real deal, and it's going to happen either one way or the other. You're either going to have a tax lien certificate that you can buy in the counties in your state, or if you go to another state, you might be buying the properties. It's one or the other, but you always know ahead of time. You never get a property, you never buy a property and not know what the value is. All right, so finally I called Los Angeles, and I asked the man that answered the phone if they had any tax lien certificates available. And in California, they don't sell tax lien certificates. So he immediately told me, he said, we don't sell tax lien certificates. And I said, well, what do you do if the people don't pay their tax? He said, we auction the property for the back taxes. Now, let me say that again. We auction the property for the back taxes. So I said, okay, you're telling me you're going to take those high-priced California properties and you're going to auction them for the back taxes. He said, you got it right. And I said, okay, tell me what happens to the mortgage. And he said, the mortgage is wiped out. And I said, how can you wipe out the mortgage? He said, it's the law in every county in the state that if they don't pay the taxes, we foreclose, take the property, and wipe out the mortgage. So I then asked him, could you be kind enough to send me a list of the properties available in Los Angeles, not California, just Los Angeles? And he said, yes, send me $12. And what you're looking at is that list. You're looking at a list, just like it. Now, the list for the past 2 years is much bigger than the one that you see pictured. The one I had for 2013 had 7,000 properties in it to start with. The actual auction, it was 2,000 available at the auction. A little later on, I'll get to it. I'll show you a bit. Someone that I sent to that auction, and they were very, very successful. Okay, so you'll get the idea. All right, and the Los Angeles auction, which is round numbers 2,000 properties, they had at least 500 left over that nobody even bid on. They had 500 people go to the auction. There was only a total of 40 people that actually bid because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have a clue on what they were doing. All right, so you're kind of getting the idea. So this is how I learned. I went step by step, and I just caught. Now, that was 20 years ago, and I'm kind of bringing you up to speed slowly. All right, now here's some information nobody else is going to tell you. Inside of the newspaper I just showed you or the book I just showed you, it'll show what you see on the screen now. It'll show a property ID. Just like you have a social security number, every property has an ID on it. Okay, then it'll show the taxes that it'll do, and then it'll show the value of the property. That's all it shows. And the rest of it, you have to figure it out. You have to figure out what the ID is, where the property is, and all that. So we can show you how to do that. That's not difficult. We can show you how to do that while you're sitting at your kitchen table, because we've got this all now so we can do it on a computer. But the point is, let's look at how many we have here. We have 4 properties listed, so each one of them has a tax on it, and each one of them has a value. All right, so now, if you paid the tax on each one of those properties, you can see you would pay $25,000 in tax. All right, so that would be your investment. But what if those people never came in and paid the tax? What would you get? Well, look at the right-hand column. That's what you would get. You would get those properties. Now, I didn't make the rules. I'm just bringing you the message. So you need to learn how to take advantage of exactly what I'm teaching you today. So people say all the time, oh, Ted, I just want to have my money in the bank. I said, I don't mind. Put your money in the bank. It's okay because you put money in the bank, save $25,000 in the bank. If the bank goes broke, you'll still get paid. That's the way it works. You'll still get paid. So you're going to have to make a choice. Do you want to do it here, put money in an investment like this, and end up with the properties? Or do you want to get your high interest rates? What is it you want? You get to make choices. It's your money. All I can do is bring you the message and basically show you how to do it. Now, most of you are computer savvy, so you know what this is. It's just a thumb drive. Well, we have on that thumb drive a lot of information. If you take the thumb drive that you see pictured there, and you were here with me, what we simply would do is we take the thumb drive out, and we reach down here to our computer, and we plug it into the side of the computer. And if we're attached to the internet, that thumb drive will give you access to all 3,200 counties in the United States and 1,400 municipalities, and that'll allow you to access 100 million properties sitting at your kitchen table. And you can look and know the value of every one of those properties. So you're never going to buy a property that you didn't know the value of. So we took the risk out of it. So if it had a tax on it of $5,000 and it was worth $100,000 and the auction price is $5,000, do you want to go? That's how difficult it is. But people don't understand that, and they don't know how to access it, so we figured it all out for you. All right, now what you're going to see is if the thumb drive was plugged into your computer, this is what would be happening. You can go to any one of the counties. You'll see in just a second. The book will turn and get to the counties. So we have the name, the address, the telephone number, the email. We have everything for every county in the United States and every single municipality. So we know we can get the auction list from them. We can get anything we want, and they'll give it to us. It's all accessible. Every one of them. All right, now what is this? Well, this is what I call an accelerated learning system. This is where you get a video coach. You see, if you've never done this before, and you haven't done it on your computer, we take the DVDs that you can see. The bottom two are DVDs. You can take that DVD, slide it into your computer, and there's going to be a young lady showing you how to buy online. So if you want to stay home and buy online, you can do that. Now, are there risks of buying online? Yes, there's risk in any investment. All right, so you want to have someone check the property and make sure it's there. The CDs are so you can listen in your car. But we have a video coach, so that's an accelerated learning system. You can learn how to do this sitting at home. Is that good? Yeah, that's great. Absolutely. All right, now if you tuned in late, just know if I've said something and you don't quite understand it, write it down. I'll put it up there in the chat box, whichever you want to do, and I'll answer questions when I finish the presentation. Okay, so people want to buy online. This is Marilyn on the left. She wanted to buy online. She's a stock market investor. and she got a little bit tired of the market going up and down, up and down. So she just wanted to buy online. So we taught her how to buy online. So listen to her story, and she'll tell you exactly what she did.
Stocks are volatile. I've lost money in them before. With Ted's program, it's an online program. You buy everything online. I got 48, averaging 8-9%. Some of them are earning 18%. It's an awesome program. It's a safe, secure way to earn a whole lot better interest rate than the banks are giving you at a 0.5 or 1%. The little guy can do it. You can have a couple of $1,000s and invest. Most of the liens that I purchased were a couple $100, under $1,000. So it's a secure program. I wish I had known this years ago.
Okay, now the next woman you're going to see, her name is Peggy, and she lives in Carolina, North Carolina, as a matter of fact. Now, North Carolina, they don't sell tax liens in that state. Let me say that again. They don't sell tax liens in that state. They actually sell the deed to the property. So she said to me at one of our events, she said, Ted, I really don't want the property because I don't want to have to fix them up or deal with tenants or do any of that. I just want to get a steady rate of return. So I said, well, why don't we teach you to stay at home, just sit there at your computer and buy in another state and just buy tax certificates. And so that's exactly what we did. We taught her to stay in the Carolinas, and here's her story.
I've chosen this as my retirement investment venue. I'm tired of watching stock portfolios and mutual funds go up and down and up and down. So I got online and looked in a lot of different counties to see who paid the highest interest rate, who had the easiest system to actually buy certificates. So I've found this amazing vehicle through Ted's system that where you can buy something that's very high return, 18% in my case, and higher, 36% in some cases. The first tax liens I bought 3 of them for $2,273. I wanted to try it, just see if it was something that was safe and would pay off. I got those certificates in the mail, put them in my drawer, and waited. Next thing I know, months later, I got a check in the mail for $3,159. That was an 18% annual return on my money. It's an amazing world that's opened up to me with this system. And the main thing is I've taken control of it, and I found something very safe with a high return. And I'm going to have enough money for retirement now. I feel confident about that.
Okay, so you guys got to start thinking about getting involved in this kind of thing because it works in every state and it works in every county. Okay, so big question on the top of the screen is what happens when the property owner doesn't pay? First answer is you get the property free and clear of all encumbrances. Now, how good is that? Free and clear. Now, I didn't make the rules. I'm bringing you the message, but it's a rule in every state. The mortgage is wiped out. And then finally, you just bought real estate for 3 to 10 cents on the dollar. Where are you going to make a deal like that? You know, in our whole life, you don't get to do that. Well, when you buy at a tax defaulted auction, the bidding starts at the back taxes. When you buy a tax certificate, the most you're going to do is pay 3 years taxes, and you're going to end up with it. You're going to end up with the property. If you get paid, then you get paid the interest rate that we talked about earlier. Okay, so now let me walk you through the steps to buy at one of the auctions. So this will be very interesting, and you'll see that this is not a complex problem. I'm just going to show you 4 steps, and they're all things that I already talked about. First step is get the list. I showed you all those lists just a few minutes ago. So every county will have a list of properties every single year. And some counties will do it more than once a year. Okay, then you go to the auction. Now you can go to the auction online, or you actually go to it if you want to. And then once you bought a certificate, then you just passively wait. And the final thing to do is you have to make sure you cash the check. That's all there is to buying at a tax lien certificate auction. Now that's a passive investment. There's no work. You raise your hand, you buy the certificate, you take it home, you put it on your desk. There's no more work. You just wait for the government to call you and tell you that send the certificate back. They're going to send you a check. If they don't call you, you're going to end up with the property. But most 97, 98% of the time, you're going to get paid. There's only a few percent of the time that you get the property. Now this is a more active investment, so the entrepreneurial people, this is the one they like because they want to go to the auction and try to buy for 10 and 20 cents on the dollar, which is the auctions that I like to go. So same thing, you need to get a list. Every county will have a list. They'll gladly issue the list. We can show you how to get it online. You can show you how to get it physically. Sometimes it's in the newspaper. Sometimes you have to go there. Sometimes you have to write them a letter or whatever it is. We'll show you how to do that. Now you want to check the property out. But you see, every property is easy to check out. And I'll show you how to do that in the next few minutes. But all of this information is available to you. So you never have to worry about buying a property. You never have to worry about buying a property and not knowing what the value it is. So you always know that you're going to buy for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. Then you bid at the auction. Now, when you bid at the auction to win, you own the property at that point in time. I said you own it. So if you own it, then you got to think about what you're going to do. And of course, that is you're going to be responsible for selling it. Okay, could you call a broker and do that? Could you get other people to do it? Yes. There's lots of ways to get a property sold. However, the beauty of what you just did is you bought it at a rock bottom price, so you don't have to hold out for top dollar. You can sell it for 50 cents on the dollar and still make a lot of money. So those are the steps. So there was two businesses. One was tax lien certificates, and the other was tax deeds. All right, so let's get into it and kind of learn a little bit more about these two types of business. All right, now this is Karen Russell. Now this gal is she's really on the ball, but she got a little bit misdirected. And by that I mean she got a little misdirected because she went to school, and as a matter of fact, well, here, let's just show you. But before I do anything, when I show you her video, I'm going to ask you to write a few things down because you're going to see how powerful this really is by writing a few things down. Okay, well, first of all, she spent a little bit too much time in school, and what she did is she first of all went to college, which was a great idea. However, she was using government loans to do all that. So when you get out, you have to pay those loans back. So you don't want to keep stacking the debt up. You want to get a job, you want to do something, and not keep debt. Well, she did so well in school that then she decided what she wanted is that she wanted to go to law school. Well, guess what? She borrowed the money to go to law school. Now she's getting even more debt. So now she's really stacking on the debt. Well, she did well in law school and passed the bar. So what's the next thing she did? She went in business. Well, there's one thing missing here, and you guys all know what it is. She's not earning any money, and she doesn't have it. So she's doing this all on borrowed money. Well, then after the law practice went about 6 months and the money wasn't rolling in, she came to my event. She said, Ted, you've got to show me how to do this. So she said, how much is it going to cost me to learn how to do this so I can start making money? I said, look, you're going to have to invest $2,000. When I said that, she laughed at me. She just laughed. I said, why are you laughing at me? She said, I've spent $200,000 on my education, and now you're telling me I can make money for $2,000? I said, yeah, you can. All right, well, let's see what happens to her. And this is not an unusual story. Let me stop this for a second. And I want you to write 3 things down while she does it. I'm taking a 20-minute video and put it into 30 seconds. Okay, I want you to write down what she pays, what she says it's worth, and what she rents it for. Now you guys you'll hear that. What she pays, what she said it's worth, and what she rents it for. So let's just it's only going to take 30 seconds.
There are tons and tons of tax deed properties available here in the area that I live. I mean, every month we probably go to the tax deed sales, and there's anywhere from 110 to 140 properties that they're putting up the tax deeds for sale, and that's exactly how I got this one right here behind me. I bought this for the tax deed for $11,000, ended up owning the property. I'm going to rent it out for $750 a month, so I'll have it completely paid off inside of 15 months. Even though somebody's already offered me $40,000 to buy it, I'm going to keep it as a rental property because I know in 3-4 years this house is going to be worth $80,000. And I like the sort of the sounds of $80,000 versus $40,000 in terms of my retirement.
Okay, so let's work on this just a little bit. All right. All right. So what did she pay for it? So I know the screen. She paid $11,000, and she said it was worth how much? She said it was worth $40. So she paid about 25 cents on the dollar. Now I know everybody would like to do that. That was great. All right. So now she's made a good deal. But she didn't want to sell it. She just wanted to rent it and wait for the market to come back. All right, so she rented it for $750 a month. You can see the numbers there. All right, now let's balance this out. Just balance it out. On one hand, she's got $9,000. On the other hand, she spent $11,000. So what is her ROI? What's her return on that investment? She got $11,000 investment. What kind of return did she get on that investment? Well, she got one heck of a return on that investment. There's her ROI, her return on investment. She hasn't sold the property, and she's got an 80% return. Now that's one heck of a return, but it's all predicated on her buying the property so cheap. By buying it for 25 cents on the dollar, she's going to make herself a small fortune. All right, how does that compare with your investments? So you need to start thinking about doing this kind of investment. At least learn it and learn what's available where you are or someplace close to where you are, or learn how to do it on the internet so you can do it anywhere you want. I have people that we teach in Australia. We teach people in London, England. We teach people in all the Canadian provinces. Over 200 people in Canada invested in this program last year. And when do you see some of the returns that some of them made? Now, is that a great rate of return or what? she can just keep that house and make 80% every year, maybe even more if she raises the rent. So that's the kind of investment you guys want to think about. So you got to get in on this kind of thing. Now, some of you are saying, Ted, I don't have $11,000. Okay? Well, why don't we show you someone that does it for a heck of a lot less than that, for maybe $100. So take a look at this. We're going to take a camera and it's going to go right down on top of the deed that the guy bought it from, and you'll see the whole thing. Okay? So if you can't afford it, don't say that, because anybody can start and get this business for pennies. Here we go.
So tell me what we're looking at here. Okay, great. Here's an example of what I've done recently. This is 20 acres of land. This is in Oklahoma. And you can see right here where I paid. Tell me how much I paid there.
$41.20.
$41.20 for
20 acres
of land. This is my property, and I've just put it on the market for $1,000 an acre for $20,000.
$20,000. But you don't have to be some type of a real estate genius or mathematical genius to do this.
Not at all. In fact, real estate people just really don't understand a lot of how this tax stuff works. You hear it and you think, well, that's too good to be true.
And you're glad to have them think that. Huh?
Yeah, just keep on and keep it on.
What else you got to show us here, Craig?
This is 40 acres of farmland.
Wow.
Trees, rolling hills. This is how much I pay. How much did I pay for that?
$60.37.
Is that incredible?
And how much are you putting that back out for sale?
I'll probably put this one up for $1,000 an acre. If you can read, you can do this.
But this is the kind of guidance and instruction you're getting through Ted.Thomas's program.
Ted, I tell you, Ted will save people years of stumbling. Probably, 2 years to figure all this stuff out.
Wow, think about that. Well, he didn't have very much money invested, did he? Okay, so hang in here, and I'm just going to go through this disclosure here, and this kind of brings it all home. So just so I've been really clear and transparent, Craig paid $41.20 for 20 acres of land. That was about $2 an acre. On the second one, he paid $60.37 for 40 acres of land. That's about $1.50 an acre, okay? So the Federal Trade Commission requires that I tell you that you could lose money on any investment that I tell you about. So yes, that could happen, because if you didn't check those properties out and know what they're worth, you shouldn't have bought them in the first place. You can always find out what they're worth, and there he was going to out and sell them for $1,000. So this system has been around for well over 100 years. The system would not work, and I couldn't tell you about it, unless it was good for both parties. This is good for the government because they get the property back on the tax roll, and it's good for you because you can buy at just pennies on the dollar. Okay, I don't know what you're going to pay for a property. I don't know if you're going to steal one, but don't buy it unless you can. I'll only pay up to 20 cents on the dollar myself. You should kind of follow in my footsteps and do the same thing. Okay, now, if you stayed on for this long, you're interested. I know some people just came on, so you guys that just came on, a little later on I'll do questions and a review and kind of catch up. Okay, well, this is a little bit different. I know it's different, but it's been around for 100 years. I just took a year off and learned all about it, and now I've been explaining to people for 20 years exactly how to do it. Okay, so 100 years ago, Henry Ford was pretty different when he came out with a car, right? And when Stephen Jobs came out with the Apple computer, he was a little different. So the reason that most people won't do this is they're afraid to let their mind open up and learn about something new. The system will be there, and people will be making money on it 100 years from now. There's no reason for it to go away. It's good for both parties. Both parties make money on this, so that's why the whole thing works. All right, so keep that in the back of your mind. Let's take a look at some of the other people that have done very well. Now, this is Bob. Now, Bob started out with me about 13 years ago. Now, he's a full-time forester. In other words, he goes out and he measures the trees, and he looks at the trees, and he looks at the forest, and then he tells the big wirehouser companies, now's the time to cut it, now's the time to reforest, no, wait 5 years, whatever. So he's a forester, okay? Now, before I get to Bob, he's been with me for, well, at least 13 years. He's done over 100 deals. Now, I'm going to show you one or two. But he's done over 100 deals. So he has a full-time job. So this is not full-time work. He does about 8 properties a year. Now, I know if I said to you, are you making enough money? Do you deserve to be rich? You'd say, yeah, I deserve to be rich. Well, then the other question that immediately follows up that one, do you get paid what you're worth? Most people say, no, I don't. So let me show you how people make a fortune a little bit at a time. Now, this is a lakefront lot that's coming up for auction. It's an hour from a big city. Now, this is a lakefront lot. You can put a cabin on this. You can do anything you want. It's a little bigger than an acre. So you can always know the value because you could go to the county, figure out the value was. So if you got the auction list, you can say, oh, it's a lakefront lot. Now, this is a bass lake. I have to know that. Okay, so this is a good fishing lake. So you could go to the county, find out what the value was, and once you found the value, then you can decide what you wanted to bid. All right, so Bob went to he's been doing this for a number of years, so he went and found out that the assessed value, now that's a trusted source. The trusted source is the government in this case because they have put a value on it. That's not a brokerage value or Ted's value or your value, it's the government's value of that property. So they say the lot is worth $39,000. So he goes to the auction, and the tax was much less than that, but someone bid, then he bid, they went back and forth on the bidding. Long story short, he ended up buying that for $3,700. Now let's back up a second. It was worth $39, and he paid $37. So he's got it for less than 10 cents on the dollar. Now here's what everybody else does. I don't want you to do what everybody else does. Be contrarian. Be a little bit different. Everybody else is going to say, I bought it low and I'm going to sell it high. That's the wrong way. Buy it low and sell it low. So all I taught Bob to do 13 years ago was whatever you do is buy it low and then sell it low. So he put an ad in the paper, a simple ad. The ad was as big as your thumb. That's all it was, big as your thumb. And the ad simply said, foreclosure bargain, assessed value, $39,000, must sell, $24,000. Assessed value, $39,000, must sell, $24,000. He sold it for $24,000 in 30 days. That means he got all his money back plus $20,000. That was a heck of a profit. How much work did he have to do? Is he fixing property up? Is he doing any of that? No, he's just buying it low and he's reselling it. Is every property in the United States going to be like that? No, but he does it 8 or 10 times a year. We have records that show that kind of thing. Imagine doing that 8 or 10 times every year. While he was on this property, I said to him, I said, Bob, we were videotaping. I run the big videotape camera, and I said, Bob, is this the best deal you ever made? And here's what he said to me. Listen close.
I'd have to say that the best dollar-for-dollar deal I've ever done on a piece of land, it happened in Oklahoma. I went out to an outlying county, and I bought a tax lien. The tax lien was on a 25-acre piece of land. The tax lien was only $67.12. You'd think that nobody would ever abandon a piece of land for that small of a tax bill, but things like that do happen. And guess what? Those people never did pay that tax. They never redeemed that tax lien, and I ended up getting the tax deed to that property. I eventually sold that piece of land for $22,500. It's not uncommon to make $10,000 or $20,000 off of a deal.
Now the beauty of what he's doing is he does that in his IRA account. So he buys that property in his IRA account, and when the county sells, when he sells the property and he gets paid, what he does is he put the money back in the IRA, so he doesn't have to pay any tax on it, and all that growth from just buying it for pennies, the $60 or whatever it was, to the $22,000 was non-taxable until he starts taking the money out. You could do the same thing. Every one of you could do the same thing. Okay, so who does this? Well, wealthy people do it. They've been doing it for decades, but they're not telling you about it any more than the attorneys are telling you, any more than the bankers are telling you. Nobody's going to tell you about it. Why? Because they just want to keep the whole thing to themselves. So if you want to be the winner of the lotto like he was, look at the profit he made just on those 2 properties. He's doing 8 to 10 of those every year. He's done over 100 properties since he started with me. All right, now this young lady came to me with a few difficulties. She had done well in her life, but when she got a divorce, she had a settlement, and she did not have investment experience. She started out with stockbrokers. That didn't work. Then she tried real estate brokers. That didn't work. And pretty quick, the properties that she bought, because she was in Florida, they all went straight down. It was a problem that they just went straight down. She lost all her money. So she came to me and she said, look, I've got to get started doing something to make you money. So I started her out, and she made a small investment. And she made a small investment in a home study course, which I've already shown you. I'm going to show you a little bit more about it. But now, with your permission, I'm going to show you how someone made $50,000 in just a short period of time. Now, will everybody make $50,000 in a short period of time? The answer is no. But if you do these kind of deals, the answer is yes. All right. Now, this is the home study course that she invested in. Now, you can see what the price is. She invested $2,000. Now, you be the judge and you be the jury. And just listen to what I'm going to say here now. And you decide whether she got her money's worth. Okay? So her first property at auction was this one. Now, it's a nice house. It's in Jacksonville, Florida. It's about 2,200 square feet. It's worth about $150,000. Well, let's say 125. Our market's a little soft. Okay, you can see the big eucalyptus trees. It sits on a half acre. All right, she was desperate for money. She was desperate. So the last money she had, practically, she did it. Now, I don't recommend you wait until it's your last money, but that's what she did. So she invested in this property. She wanted to get rid of it quickly. So she priced it. Just like I said, don't hold out for the big bucks. Buy the property low, sell it low, and move and get another one, and just keep this as a cash business. I do it as a cash business in my pension plan. As a cash business, I want to buy, get in, get out. I don't want to be in the rental business. I don't want to own a lot of property. I don't want to do any maintenance. I just want to buy them and quickly sell. That's what she sold it for. Now imagine someone that's gone through a divorce, lost all their money, made an investment, how much that $70,000 was to her. That was a powerful, powerful thing. Well, let's see how she did for her whole first year.
This is the best time to be using Ted's system. In these horrible economic times with all the foreclosures and all the things that are happening with people, I've bought more properties than I would have dreamed possible. In my first year, I bought 7 different properties. I sold them and made over $125,000. I mean, is that amazing for somebody who had no experience at this, didn't know anything? I didn't even know what a tax deed was. I bought an office condo. I bought residential property. I bought a lot. I bought a boat slip for yachts. Just like this property right here. I bought this at a tax auction. I paid a little over $5,400, $5,418.03, and I sold it less than a month later for over $70,000, $75,000. I made a $70,000 profit, and these people got a house for $50,000 less than all the houses in the neighborhood were selling for. Is that amazing or what? I made money. They got a great deal. I love Ted. His system is the best.
Okay, well, she's giving me a lot of credit at the end, but she did all the work. So you have to look at that and say, did she get her money's worth? And she certainly did, many times over. Okay, so as part of the course materials, I make sure that I add this to it. Now, this is called a gift from Uncle Sam. It's just a little short course on how to have your own IRA. Now, you want to have your own IRA and not have it with a bank and not have it with an insurance company so that you can direct where the investments go. Because if she had taken that $5,000 and put it in, been able to do it. She was wealthy enough at the time. She wasn't, but if she had been and she had done that investment through her IRA, all that growth, all the money that she made, she would not have been taxable. So you want to try to do this. But this comes with your course material. Now, a few minutes ago, I mentioned an accelerated learning system. This is important because what we do with these DVDs is you just take your computer and you just slide the DVD in there, and you'll have a video coach showing you how to do this online. You don't have to do it online. You can go to the auction. I personally like to go to the auction because I think I can get a better deal. But a lot of people want to do this online. So if you want to do it online, we'll teach you how to do that right with this accelerated learning system. All right, now this is important. This is very important what I'm going to talk about now. You see, people get involved in course materials, then they go home, they don't know what to do. And we know that. So they get home and then they put it on the shelf, and then, or they put it on their desk, and then it goes to the floor, then it goes by the easy chair, and then it goes to the closet. They don't do anything. So we provide you with a coach who answers questions every single Wednesday night. Her name is Coach Crystal, as a matter of fact. She's been doing that with me for 9 years. So she's there every Wednesday night. So when you get your materials and you start studying and you get a question, you say, all right, I'll write my question down, which is a good idea. And then when you get on that call, you can get on the call. Sometimes it's 50 people, sometimes 75, sometimes it's 10. We never know how many people are going to be on the call. But you can ask her questions every Wednesday night, and that's at 6 o'clock Pacific time because she lives in California. So why not have a coach that'll carry you? That's for 1 whole year. So we're not going to get you involved in a program and then walk away and say, bye, so long, it was nice having you. You're going to be involved with us for a period of time so we can make sure that you're doing okay. All right, let's do another little quick review. So we've talked a little bit about the home study courses. I talked about the accelerated learning. Now I've also talked about the coaching certificate you can see there. So that's 1 whole year, every Wednesday night. Then I talked about a gift from Uncle Sam. But there's a lot more to talk about, a lot more to help you. Now the value is $4,600, but you're not going to pay that. Your investment, when you get involved, is going to be $1,995. So it's that price. The price will stay there all the time. Now this is something people like, and it's something I sure like, and you're going to really be involved here in the next few minutes. First of all, before I tell you what you're really going to like, I want to make sure that everyone understands everything we do has 100% money back guarantee. So if you were to get yourself involved with these materials and something you didn't like about it, it's no problem for us. Just send the material back. You have 30 days. Check everything out. Make sure that you like it. Go on the coaching calls. Do the CDs, the DVDs. Find out everything that's in there. If you don't like it, you can say, I don't like this, and just send it back. We'll give you your money back. We've been doing this for 20 years, and we intend to do it for 20 more years. So you get the idea. Now, what's the best way for me to make money? Because I'm doing this for a reason. Just like you're doing it for a reason, most of the people that come on these calls are looking for cash flow. So I'm going to show you a lot more cash flow things here before we finish. But, you know, I'm always looking to do deals. Because, you see, I can sell books and tapes, but that's not where the money is. The money is doing deals. So I'm always looking for people that want to do deals. So this is a point where you should take some pretty good notes and you should pay close attention. Because I'm looking for people that would like to do deals. Now, what does it take to do deals with me? Well, first of all, you'll like doing a deal with me because I'm willing to invest in you. That's right. I'm willing to invest. I'm willing to put the money up to buy these properties at auction. Yes, I'll put the money up 100%. As a matter of fact, I will send you a check before the auction. Will it be payable to you? No. It'll be paid to the county and to the treasurer of that county. But I'll send you a check to bid before you go to that auction. But I need two things from you. I need a commitment, number one, that you'll study and learn this material. And when you learn the material and you finish it, then you'll go to an auction. And when you go to that auction, I need you to raise your hand at that auction. And we're going to bid on those properties, and you're going to use Ted's money. I would like you to do that. Now, you don't have to do that, but I'm willing to fund people at the auction. Now, if I fund it, I'm willing to pay up to 20 cents on the dollar for a property. That means we're pretty much going to steal it. Then what are we going to do with that property? We're going to actually sell it. That's right, we're going to sell it. Now, we're not going to lease option it. We're not going to fix it. We're not going to rent it. We're going to sell it. And then whatever money I invested, I want you to pay me back. And I'll get paid back, and then we'll split 50-50. So what I'm saying is, I'm looking for people that want to do deals. In other words, you be the finder, and I'll be the funder. Now, how much risk would there be in that deal for you? Well, I don't think there's a lot of risk. But you have to do two things. One, you have to learn how to do it, and one, you have to make a small investment so that you can get the course material. That's all you have to do is those two things. Once you're ready and you're finished, you can go to any auction in any state, in any county in the United States. Any county, any state. You can go to Puerto Rico you want, you can go to Hawaii you want. I don't care where you go. I'm interested in doing it, and I'm interested in funding you. So let's kind of take a look at all that, because that's a good deal for me, and I think it's a great deal for you. And how much risk do you have if I put up the money? I don't see that you have any risk. Now, I can't take everyone, and I already did this call once earlier in the week. I've got eight of those left. I can't take everybody because we get hundreds of people that want to do this. I cannot possibly fund hundreds of people. But I said I would take 15, and there's 7 left. So if you want to be one of those, look on the bottom of the screen, because you want to get yourself in the queue to do that. You want to get yourself in the queue to do that. All right, so let's just do a deal together. Why don't we do that? Because I'm looking for investment partners, and if you go through the course materials, I think you'd be a good person to do investments with, because you'll have the potential, you'll understand it, and I'm willing to split 50-50. So why don't we just actually do a deal and put it right up on the screen so you can see what a deal would look like, okay? That will give you some comprehension of what I'm talking about here. So let me repeat the whole thing. I'm always looking for investors. You do not have to get involved in this program and invest with me. But if you do want to invest with me, I'm always looking for partners to do this. Always. Why? Because what I can do is I can spread myself out all over the United States. I have the funds to do it. I will fund you before you go to the auction. Will I send you the check? The answer is absolutely yes. I'll send you the check. Will it be payable to you? Absolutely not. It'll be payable to the county. So I'll fund the purchase before you go to the auction. Okay, when you go to the auction, I want you to raise your hand, just raise it up in the air, and I want you to bid 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. If we get the property for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, we're going to do one thing with it. It's a 4-letter word: sell it. We're going to sell the property. We're not going to lease option it. We're not going to rent it out. We're not going to fix it out. We're just going to sell the property. All I want to do is sell it, okay? When we sell it, we're going to pay back Ted whatever he invested, and then we'll split 50-50. So why don't we just take a minute and take a look at what that would look like. So let's say we get a mythical property that has a $100,000 value, okay? We're going to buy it for 10 cents on the dollar. That means that you need $10,000. So I'll send you the $10,000. It won't be payable to you. It will be payable to the county. All right. So there's the market a little soft where you are. Well, it's certainly soft where I am. So look at our 100,000 value. Why don't we sell it for 75? All right. Now, you might not have experience in selling. Not a problem. I want you to call a broker. That's right. Call a broker. What will she do? She'll call her brother-in-law. And she'll say to her brother-in-law, look, I got a $100,000 property to buy for 75. So you tell me, It's going to take 4 weeks or 4 months. I don't know, 4 weeks or 4 months. I don't know how long it'll take, but it'll get sold because we're under the market, right? I always want to be under the market to sell it. All right, so let's say we sell it. Well, first thing we're going to have some expenses. So let's figure out these expenses. Okay, we're going to have to pay the broker out of that, aren't we? All right, so that would be fair. Now, you know me, I don't want to fix them up. So we're just going to clean it up. So let's hire someone, bring them in. You're the boots on the ground, not me. You're the boots on the ground, so you're going to make some phone calls. Say, hey, get out here, got to get this house clean. So let's assume that it costs us, say, $3,000 to clean it up. Now, we all know that to get involved in real estate, the legal man, the attorney, is always going to get involved. So why don't we put a little expense thing in there for the attorney? So there's for the attorney. All right, now let's go up to the top. Top of the screen, it says $100,000 value, but you borrowed $10,000 from Ted. And remember what the deal is. We're going to do this deal. We'll split 50-50 after Ted gets paid back. Is that fair? I think it's real fair because I want to get my money back. All right, so let's pay Ted back. All right, so that leaves us 55. All right, now we said it was going to be a 50-50 deal, so let's take a look. All right, now which side do you want, the left side or the right side? Yeah, I know you want both. I tell you what, if you want both, you can have both on the first, but I'll get both on the second. All right, so how's that? Does that look pretty good? What kind of rate of return do you have on that deal? That's a pretty powerful rate of return. All right, so people say, well, that is pretty powerful. Anybody have an idea what the ROI on that is? There's a accountant on there, they know what the ROI is. But why don't we just figure it out? Okay, so you're going to get, you didn't have any money invested, yet you made $27,000. There's your rate of return. Well, what about Ted? Well, let's go back and look. Why would Ted do a deal like this? First of all, we look up here, I invested 10, but look on the bottom of the screen, did I get my 10 back? Yeah, I did. Okay, now we're going to split 27. So you have an infinite rate of return, and there's my rate of return. I will make that deal with you all day long, and I'll do that in any county and any state that you want to do it. All day long, I'll make that same deal. Why would I do that? Because I can be doing business in 20 different states all at the same time because I'm funding the deals. That makes sense? Yes. Powerful rate of return. Do you have to do those deals with me? No, because when you look at all the property, you might say, I'm not splitting it with Ted.Thomas. But if you want to, if that helps you get started, well, I'm your guy because I'd love to do it. All right, well, let's continue on. People want this kind of lifestyle, and that's how they get it. They get it by making the kind of money that we're talking about in this business. Okay, everything that you've seen so far is valued at $4,680. $4,680, but you're not going to pay that. You're only going to invest $1,995. Now, let me show you someone that did invest $1,995 in just a few months ago. Just a few months ago. I did a class in Vancouver, Canada. And this gentleman came to me on every break. He said, Ted, where should I go? Where should I go? Now, keep in mind, he's a Canadian, and I teach all the Canadians to come to the States. Why? Because the rates of return are so high. I said, I want you to go to Los Angeles County, and I want you to buy in Los Angeles County. Now, earlier today, I showed you that big book of all those properties that were available in Los Angeles. So I go to Los Angeles and buy residential lots. Now, I'll tell you more about him later on, but let's see what he had to say.
My name is Rene Gauthier from Surrey, BC. In October, I went down to the Los Angeles County tax deed sale, where I bought 5 properties for roughly $85,000. The really nice thing about them, they're all vacant lots. One is in Malibu, 4 in downtown LA. Their tax assessed value, just over $1 million. Thank you very much, Ted. Ellen, I love it.
Okay, we'll get a chance to see more of him a little later, but there's a good point for you. He invested $85,000, so he spent 8 cents on the dollar. Is this real? It just happened. As a matter of fact, I talked to him on Thursday night of this week. He's already sold some of those properties, and he's doubling his money, and more than doubling his money as he does it. So I don't know whether he's going to come out with a couple of $100,000 or $500,000, but he's going to come out with a lot of money because he bought at 8 cents on the dollar. Part-time work, full-time money. That's what we're talking. All right. Now let me open up your mind for a second, because what I'm going to do now is something that was not available until about 6 months ago. And the engineers in my office created this. I didn't create it, they did. But we found a way to do this where you can sit at home and you can do the same. You can do a lot of your work at home. So this is really going to be important. So if you're finished reading that slide, this will give you access to every state and every county in the United States sitting at home. We've got it all on a tablet. Okay, now that tablet, as you see there, it looks like it's the size of an iPad. It's about half the size of an iPad. It's built by Dell, but we put a software program on there so that you can access you can access the counties. And I'm going to show you that access in just a minute. Now this Dell Android tablet and the software, I'm going to give to you. I said I'm going to give it to you. Everyone that gets involved in the program, I will give them this tablet. You'll receive the tablet, and we'll give you classes on it. On Tuesdays, we have classes on how to do this so you can sit at home. Now, this changes the ballgame. This is a game changer because what used to take me 2 days, 3 days to do, you're going to be able to do in 10 minutes at home because you'll have access to counties and county records. And I'm going to walk you through that process right now. Am I going to teach a class on it now? No, but I'm going to show you step by step. First of all, I already told you we have directories already built and built into the tablet where we can access every county in the United States. You can do that on the tablet. That's right. Every county. If we can access every county, that means we can access every property. That's right. Every county means we can access every property. Now, these are the lists that I showed you earlier in the program of the different counties. Now, there's 3,200 counties. Some counties only have 50 properties. In this case, you can see Los Angeles on the left, where there's hundreds of properties. 800, 2,000 properties is not unusual in one of those big. So it's just going to, but you can access all of that using the tablet. Now, what I just did, and you do the same thing, by pushing the icon, there's only 10 icons on that old tablet. I went to Dade County. This is Dade, Miami, okay? I went to Dade County, and now I can go through the whole process where you can get the physical address to the property. There it is in Dade County. You can do this using the tablet sitting at your kitchen table. How about that? Now, you know about Google Maps, but we've got it right on the tablet. So you can go there and now check out the property. You haven't left home. Not a bad deal, right? Not a bad deal at all. And we put 4 apps on the tablet. There's just 4, and they're all to do appraisal. The key in the business is you want to know the value before you ever bid. So if the bid is $5,000, well, that doesn't mean anything until you know the value. If you know the value is $100,000, the starting bid was $5,000, well, you want to get into that deal. But you're not going to get into the deal unless you learn how to do it. And that's what happens to most people. They don't have a clue on what they're doing, so they don't know how to bid. But these are all appraisal apps. So now we can appraise it. Any property that you want, you can do that with your tablet. You can appraise any property because you just go to these different ones, okay? All right, now let's look at what I've done so far. I already told you about the main course. I've told you about doing it in your IRA. I've showed you how to do it online with Accelerated Learning System. Over on the right side on the bottom, you have a coach to help you along, so you get someone every Wednesday night for a year. For 1 year, you have a coach every Wednesday night, 6 o'clock Pacific time. And now we've added the tablet, except I'm going to give you the tablet. But what does that do with our value? Look at our value. It's over the top. You're not going to pay that. You're going to invest $1,995. That's it, $1,995. So you see, this is a powerful, powerful course. All right, here's another special bonus. Now, 4 times a year, I get successful students, and I bring them together with me in what I call an auction preparation workshop. Now, that auction preparation workshop lasts for 3 days, 3 full days, and all the instruction from the front of the room is done from people that are doing deals. This is not an academic class. This is a real world where people do deals and they tell you about the deals. So everyone that's a visiting professor in that class, everyone that teaches at the front of the room is a deal maker. Some people have done 40 deals, some people have done 10, some have just done 2 or 3, some have done 100. And they stand at the front of the class and show you step by step how they do it. I'm going to give you, I said I'm going to give you 1 ticket to come to that class. If you look on the screen, you want to write that down. Okay, Orlando is the next class, and that one will be the 25th, 26th, and 27th. All right, so think about that. You can take the kids over to Disney afterwards. You can go to SeaWorld. You can do all those things while you're in Orlando. So you can spend 3 days. If your wife doesn't want to come, the kids will have fun, and you can study. However you want to do that, it's going to be up to you. I'm going to add that to the package. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. If you want to bring someone with you to the class, you have to pay an additional $597. $597 if you want to bring someone else to the ticket. All right, so now let's look at the value. Look at the value of this. We're way over $8,000 in value, yet I'm freezing the price. I'm going to keep the price down. That's right, keep as low as I can. All right, now if you're going to be able to take fast action, this slide was written when we did the original call, so it's not 17 left. There's only 8 left, so keep that in mind. So if you want to get those manuals, okay, these are all downloaded manuals that you see there, so it's a library, so you can read and know more information. It's 560 pages here. It's worth over $500. You'll be able to download that right after you get started. if you want that, you're going to have to take action relatively quickly. All right, now this is a platinum thumb drive that I talked about earlier. Now this has a $1,500 value. And so I told you, you can take this thumb drive and you can go to your computer, your laptop computer, or your regular computer, just plug it in, and as long as you are able to get on the internet, then you can access with this every property in the United States. There's 100 million properties. You can access every one, find out the value, find out the square footage, find out everything you want to know about that property, and it's all there. It's all part of the public records, and so you'll get that. So I added that to your package. So you're starting to see this is going to be a pretty big, healthy package this year. So there's everything that you'll receive, and you're going to pay 20 cents on the dollar. How about that? Now that's a really powerful course. If you're really interested in doing this and making money, what better way to do this? And you've got a coach all year to help you out. All right, so you can see the price point is on there. So let's take a look and see if we can help you out a little bit. Make sure that you understand this. There's only 8 of those last reference libraries left, and the thumb drive, you have to do that by next Thursday. If you haven't ordered by next Thursday, that will absolutely fall out, because then we'll stop at that point. Now, for those of you who need a little help with the payments, we'll allow you to make 2 payments. That's right, make 2 payments if that's what you'd like to do. That's okay. However, you will not get your tablet. The tablet is on to the left right now. That tablet, you won't receive that until you make your second payment. I'm giving you that tablet. It has a value of $1,995 with the software on it. Once you learn how to use those 10 icons that are on there, you can sit at home and check out every property in the United States. All right, so now for you folks that want to make an order now, what I need you to do is just look at the bottom of the screen, and you need to go there. We're going to take a little break. Then I'm going to do a review, and then I'm going to do questions. So if you have questions, you'd be putting those in the chat box. Okay, those of you that are ready to order, go to the simplewealthted.com, then /Nestmann. I'm going to leave that on there for the next few minutes. Okay, we're just going to take a little break and go to the necessary room, but I'm going to put on a short video that you can watch that before I do the review. We'll just take a couple of minutes, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do a review. Then after the review, we're going to do the questions. So if you came on late, I'll go quickly through the review just to remind everybody of what we've done here. Okay, so look on the bottom of the screen. Those of you that are ready to order, go ahead and do it now. And remember, if you want to do a deal with Ted, I only had 8 of those left. If you want to do a deal with me, you need to be one of the first on there ordering right now, because if you're after that, I'm only going to do it with 15 people. So keep that in the back of your mind. Remember, we did this class a few nights ago, so some people have already ordered that. If you already ordered it, then don't order it again. If you've done it once, just that's all you need to do. All right, so I'm going to leave that up. I'm just going to take a short break for a couple of minutes. And then we're going to roll right into a review and more questions.
At each auction, there's somebody who has not followed the directions.
Tell us about that.
Okay, well, the funniest one was in LA. In LA, there's 1,872 properties that they want to go through in a day. So the auction goes like this. All right, this property is up. Do I have an open bid? Open bid. Next property. This property is up, $7,000. I have $7,000. 75, 77, sold. And we're on to the next property. And they did this for the first 5 minutes, and we went through about 20 properties. Property is sold. 3 more properties go through. The guy has walked to the front, told them, oh, I don't have the cash here. I need to go out to the bank machine. Rule, if you don't have the money to pay for the property, your card is taken away, you're banned from ever going back to the auction, and that's it. No second chances. Follow the rules. In Whatcom County, auction, property is sold, guy goes up to pay. He didn't read the rules. It says, he brought money orders, bank drafts. It says, put the bank draft in the name of the county. And they specify the wording of that name. What did he do? Put the name of the county and his name. Card is taken away. He is escorted out of the auction by the sheriff, never to come back. Ted kept saying, read the rules, follow the directions. I read the rules, follow the directions. And it's not just me. I have 3 other people who have all come to Ted's course, and all 4 of us go through these rules. And it's so important to have a second set of eyes going through the rules to make sure that you get it right. And I can't emphasize how important it is to have somebody working with you. Linda talks about team, and that was the biggest message I got at the course I went to with Ted, was make sure you have a team. You do have your lawyers, your real estate agents, or whatever, but also have people with you doing the research, double checking things. If you can bring them along with you, have them look at the properties with you.
All right, so now let's talk about at the auction, the experience itself. Is it a little intimidating?
At the LA auction, you don't have time to feel intimidated or anything else.
So when I was teaching the class, I said the properties are going to go like that. Was that an exaggeration?
Oh, no, not at all.
So if you're not prepared, what happens?
If you're not prepared, not organized, and I actually saw it, somebody 2 seats over, their property came up. The property that they had been waiting for about 5 hours came up just when one of them went to the bathroom. The other person was there. The person came back and, hey, did our property come back? And the person goes, huh, what? Uh-oh.
It was already sold.
It was already gone. They were 3 properties past.
All right, what if you, I'm at the auction here and I'm selling a property and you buy it, but you got another one coming up. What do you do then? I mean, you're looking at a list, right?
If I walk up to the cashier and I'm paying for one property, and I want to bid on the next one, I bring my bidder card and I hold it up and I make sure
this guy money and you raise your hand over there.
Exactly, and I actually did that for one of the properties that I bought.
Really? Wow. Wow. And so you bought, let's see, you spent $83,000. So you spent about 8 cents on the dollar.
Roughly.
Wow. 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 A little homework goes a long way, doesn't it?
It does. But what's most important is to follow the TED system, step by step, what the coaches tell you and what the people tell you. And you know what? I've done a lot of real estate in Canada, and it works great. But when you take a new system, start by knowing the system. Don't try and be creative until you've mastered the system. And his system, fantastic. That's why I mastered it.
All right, let's do a quick review here for all of you. What we've been talking about this afternoon is government tax certificates. I explained that, first of all, every property has a tax. Doesn't matter which property it is. It's always owed to the local government. The tax is always the priority. It has a priority over the mortgage. So if you own a tax lien certificate, you have a priority of the mortgage. If you own the certificate, you can foreclose and kick the mortgage off the property. Usually you don't have to do that because the local government does it for you. I believe this is the safest investment and most lucrative in the States. Okay? Why? Because these are the locked-in rates. Whenever you buy a certificate, you get locked-in rates, 16, 18, 24. Everything I've talked to you about is the law. And actually what happens is the county puts you in the #1 position, so you don't even have to do it. They make it up. Okay, let's look at the rates of return that you can earn on these certificates. Now, I didn't cover all the states, but I covered 5 of them there to give you some idea how you can make money. Some states pay all the way up to 36%. Why does the government collect the money? Here's all the reasons right here. Okay, the biggest reason is all the schools are paid for property tax, all the libraries, the fire departments, the police departments. The banks are the biggest investor because it's a conservative investment. Okay, county treasurers, well, I've talked to a lot of them, and I've talked to a lot of board of supervisors, county commissioners. They all say the same thing. 95% of you will get all your money back in 24 months. You'll get all your money back. You don't get your money back, you'll get the property. Okay, CDs are paying about 1%, but we're in about an 8% inflation market, at least according to the Federal Reserve. That's what they're printing. So that means you're losing 7% a year, and 100,000 10 years from now is going to be worth 30,000 purchasing power. Okay, So tax certificates, I like them because look at the rates of return. If I'm doing them in an IRA, it can earn up to 24% in a place like go to Maryland and go to Iowa, one of those states. I got started when there was 80. It used to take us 2 days. What we can teach you to do with a tablet, which I just showed you, that can be done in your office in 10 minutes. That used to take us 2 days. Okay. Where did I come from? I came from bankruptcy, so I learned the hard way. I'm not interested in doing anything that has risk. I try to get out of the risk business. So I know what the property's worth before I buy it. I know what the certificate's worth before I buy it. I can show you how to do it sitting at the kitchen table. How many certificates are there? There's millions. There's millions. Okay, absolutely millions. They never sell them all. There's leftovers, tons of leftovers. You and I can make a business at just buying the leftovers. As a matter of fact, there's too much for you and I to even buy the leftovers. This Canadian couple made themselves big money.
First met Ted.
Okay, let's skip over that. Okay, Los Angeles County, that was the book. The book is bigger than that now. Every year, there's more properties that go to tax auction. Every year, there's more because the market's not improving contrary to what the administration is telling you. Okay, accelerated learning system, that's a must. Why? Because you can sit there and watch it again and again and again. There's a video coach. Video coach. If you don't get it the first time, so what? Watch it again. You don't get it then, watch it again. You don't get it then, we'll have a coach get you to it so you do get it. Okay, I showed you these young ladies, okay? Okay, let's look at Marilyn. Let's see how she did on tax certificates.
Stocks are volatile. I've lost money in them before. With Ted's program, it's an online program. You buy everything online. I got 48, averaging 8-9%. Some of them are earning 18%. It's an awesome program. It's a safe, secure way to earn a whole lot better interest rate than the banks are giving you at a 0.5 or 1%. The little guy can do it. You can have a couple of $1,000s and invest. Most of the liens that I purchased were a couple $100, under $1,000. So it's a secure program. I wish I had known this years ago.
Yeah, I think how many people wish they had known this.
I've chosen this as my retirement investment venue. I'm tired of watching stock portfolios and mutual funds go up and down and up and down. So I got online and looked in a lot of different counties to see who paid the highest interest rate, who had the easiest system to actually buy certificates. So I've found this amazing vehicle through Ted's system that where you can buy something that's very high return, 18% in my case, and higher, 36% in some cases. The first tax liens I bought 3 of them for $2,273. I wanted to try it, just see if it was something that was safe and would pay off. I got those certificates in the mail, put them in my drawer, and waited. Next thing I know, months later, I got a check in the mail for $3,159. That was an 18% annual return on my money. It's an amazing world that's opened up to me with this system. And the main thing is I've taken control of it, and I found something very safe with a high return. And I'm going to have enough money for retirement now. I feel confident about that.
Well, I hope you guys are all going to have enough money for your retirement too. So let's do a couple more. This is Karen. She told us how she made money, and she started renting the property, but she had a lot of equity, so that was a good one. Look at her ROI. We talked about Bob. Bob's been doing this a long time. He's got over 100 deals under his belt, and you can see why, because he finds a property that has a good assessment on it, buys it for 10 cents on the dollar, and then resells it. So that's a worthwhile business. You can do that for the rest of your life. It's happening in every county in the United States. I'm always looking for people that want to do deals. So if you want to do deals with me, I'd love to do a deal with you. People say, why would I do that? Well, it's a simple reason that it just expands my money making to a lot of other counties, a lot of other places in the United States. Yes, I will send you the check. Yes, I'll send you it ahead of time. And yes, it will be made out to the county. It won't be made out to you, but you'll have the check before you go to the auction so that you know what you can bid, what your maximum bid is going to be. So I'm always looking for people that want to do that. You don't have to do that with me, but if you want to, I'm always willing to do that. Now, this is Renee, who we just saw, and he bought $1 million worth of properties for 8 cents on the dollar. It just doesn't get any better than that. Without this tool, there's a lot of work to do. With this tool, the work went from 2 days down to 10 minutes, and it was all because we could use a software program where you can sit at home and do all that. That's my gift to you. Why would I give you a gift like that? Because number one, it'll help you be successful quickly, but number two, I accelerate my chances of getting people to do deals with me because they can do their research sitting at their kitchen table. So that's pretty easy to do. People like to do that. And I don't know why I shut it off, but I did, but let me see if I can fix that. Okay. All right. I talked about these Directories, we have directories of every county, and we're able to access every county. We're able to access every list. We're able to access every county so that we can look at it and know the property values. It's all important. You can do all this with a tablet. You never have to leave home and you're finding out all that information. Okay, I got a couple more slides and then we'll be finished. We'll go to questions. These are some of the things that were added onto the program. This is a library. People find that it's very important to have a library. They can look up a lot of information that they hadn't thought about when we first start, but as they get into it, they get a research library. And then this Platinum Directory will also help you access. If you just put that in your pocket, you go from anybody's computer, you can start accessing property all over the United States. So there's the whole program right there as you see it. So if you've already ordered, fine. If you haven't, you want to look at the bottom of the screen. And if you want to do a payment program, that's fine. I'll put that up there now and I'll leave it there for a second. And then we're going to roll into questions. So Gary, can you expand the size of the chat box, and then I'll go and do some questions. So you want to back it up? Is that the total questions we have? Okay. So if you have a question you want to put in the chat box, go ahead, and I'll answer your question. Now, I'm going to stay here, but I have to walk over there. What's happening where I am right now is I have a big screen to my right that shows me the slides coming across, chat box, time clocks, and things like that, then a picture of myself. And down here, Gary's sitting, and he's monitoring everything. And then I have a screen that I'm talking to you. Everything you're seeing, I'm seeing right in front of me. So now I'm going to walk over to the chat box, but I'll come right back. Okay, I didn't bring my glasses with me. Okay. Okay, Craig, you're asking me about tax lien certificates in Florida, in California. And California, generally speaking, only sells tax deeds. They do not sell tax liens. They only sell the property in California. Now, could there be a county that decided to sell a few tax liens? Yes, but the rules in California, as they stand today, they auction the property starting bid back taxes. That was for Craig for California. Okay, there's a question about IRA and having tax deed properties in IRA. It's perfectly legal to buy a property and make money on it and then resell it and do it all within an IRA. I'm not an IRA expert, but I know enough to know that we've been doing that for 20 years, and I know enough to be able to tell you that you can buy a property with your IRA. So let's say it's in the Ted.Thomas IRA. I can go to the county and say, all right, when you title the property, title it in the Ted.Thomas IRA. And when I sell it, the Ted.Thomas IRA sells it, and all the money goes in. So it's not considered a business. But I'm not an attorney, so I'm not giving you legal advice. You can go ask your IRA specialist about that, okay? Okay, there's a question about the deeds have been lost. First of all, if the deed has been lost on the property, what you're buying from the county. So the county clears the title and goes through all that searching process before they put it up. However, be cautious. Whenever you're buying something, you just want to make sure you've got enough value and you're buying it at a low enough price. If you're worried about anything about the searching of the title or any of that, all that is available to you because it's perfectly legal to go in and search that. You can hire a title company to search that if you're worried about it. But if there's a question, don't do it. We're not in a scarcity business. When you go to these auctions, there's going to be too many properties. So if there's one that you're concerned about, don't buy it. Don't take risk, okay? Do not take risk. You don't need to take risk in this business. I'm out of the risk business, and I'm teaching you to stay out of it. If you have a question, don't do it until you get the right answer. Do another property. There'll be plenty of property at the auction. He says he can't access the website. Peter, what? Something wrong? Okay. Folks, on the bottom of the screen it says simplewealthted.com/Nestmann. Would a couple of you go ahead and try to do that? Peter said he couldn't get on there. So not to worry about it, Peter. You can always call the office and we'll work it out. I'll give you a number here in just a minute. There won't be anybody there today, but we'll give you a number. Okay, hold on just a second. Oh, you said the same thing twice. Oh, I just did it twice. Okay, Jeff, you're asking us if there's updates on the thumb drive. The thumb drive gives you access to the counties. The counties will update continuously. The thumb drive is to get you to the county so that we don't have to take hours and hours updating the thumb drive. The thumb drive is going to get you to the county, and when you get there, we have all the appropriate telephone numbers and all that. So we don't spend a lot of time. Once a year they'll update it, but we're not updating that every day. What you need to be updated on is what the county is telling you. So we're going to get you to the county. That's the important thing, is to be able to plug that into your computer and get to the county, and then the updated information you need is basically on the properties that are there. Richard, I think I answered your question, same as Jeff's, about the updating. You're worried about the information being old. Okay, the information that you need is at the county. The information you get from us, like you're looking at everything on that screen right now, that information is updated at least once a year, sometimes twice. But the information that you really need is the information on the county. So don't overthink this. Here's how simple the business is. This business was invented when people couldn't read and write. What you need is the list of the properties, what their values are, and what the starting bid is. You need the list of the property, what the value is, and what the starting bid. You can make almost all your decisions based on what I just said. It's that simple. If you make it any more complicated than that, now if you want to get there and do lots of research, you can do that. Many of the counties, when you go to buy a property, go to buy it at auction, they will have already done the title report for you. You can open the folder. I can't show it here doing the webinar, but we have classes with it where all the folders are right there. You can actually open them up and look at every single thing about a property. Not unusual to go to a county that's having an auction and you go into the county office. I'm standing at a stand-up desk right now, and the stand-up desk at the county will have files all the way down the county. You can go up there and pick up any property. There's a file on every property that they're going to put out. You can read the whole file. And if you didn't do it there, you could do it online, either way. So I'll come right back. I said www and nothing happens. I don't know what's happening. Okay.
You asked the question below. We're going to have a phone number.
Okay, let me give you guys a couple of things if you haven't trouble with the website. Let me give you a couple of things. I'm Ted at Ted.Thomas.com. Ted at Ted.Thomas.com. Now remember, I've only got 8 people left that I can do deals with. So if everybody surges on there, first come, first serve. Okay, I can't. I said I'd take 15 people up. That's all I can do. So anyway, so I'm Ted at Ted.Thomas.com. No, I won't answer you today. When I finish today, I'm done and I'm not working tomorrow. So by Monday, I'll get back to you. Okay. All right. So then, or I'll have my assistant, which will either be Kim or Ashley. They'll get back. So don't worry, you'll be included. Nobody's going to get excluded. Okay. Ted at Ted.Thomas.com, or Ashley at Ted.Thomas.com, or Kim, K-I-M, at Ted.Thomas.com. If they're having trouble with the site, they're having trouble. I can't fix that. I know. Hold on a second. I'll get you some phone numbers. Just a second. Lois, all my staff is off today, so I can't give you. But let me give you Kim's phone number, and then I'm going to write it down that you're going to call her. So you can call Kim. I'm in Florida, so keep the time in mind. 321-449-9940. Okay, let's do it again. It's Kim at Ted.Thomas.com if you want to do it that way. Or if you want to call her on the phone. She won't be there today. The staff is off today. It's Saturday. She's at 321-449-9940. They know exactly what I'm doing today. They know all about this program. I do one of these webinars for someone in the world every week. Every week I do this, so they'll be familiar. Every once in a while the site goes down. My tech guy is sitting here with me. he said the site is okay, right? Okay, the site should be okay right now. But if you have trouble, now you've got 3 different ways to get it, okay? Try the site, simplewealthted.com/Nestmann. Okay, and I'm going to leave that up there, and I'll show you guys a video, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm just going to take a little break. I need to get something for my voice, okay? Okay, I'm not going away, don't worry. I'm going to show you another great video, and then I'll come back and do any more questions you have, okay? But let me make sure I'm finished in the box. Is an IRS lien superior to a tax certificate? Okay. What I want all of you to know is we're going to show you how to handle the IRS liens. The IRS lien is from the Republic. That means that that lien is superior to any lien. However, when they put it on a real estate property, they put it on there, and when the county notifies the IRS that they're going to have this auction, that lien will stay on for 120 days, and then it automatically drops off. Ah, that's worth $1 million, what I just told you. Anytime you find a property with an IRS lien, call me because I want to buy it. So I'm going to tell you that again. If you find one with an IRS lien, call me because I want to buy it at the auction because I know it will happen in 120 days. The IRS doesn't buy properties, let me tell you. But if they do want to buy it, they can, and they have to give you back all your money. So if it has an IRS lien on it, get down to that auction now because if you buy it and invest in it, the IRS wants it, they'll give you money back. If they don't, you just made a heck of a deal because nobody else knows what we're talking about. No one else knows what I just told you. All right, let me see if there's any other question. I'm going to show you a short video, and then I'll come back. Okay, we're going to go to a short video, then I'll be back. Can you put that back on my screen, Gary? Oh, there it is. Okay, okay, I got it.
Now, this is kind of a thing that people don't talk about in the seminars very much. You bought the property, but they didn't give you the deed.
Unfortunately, every county has different rules. For LA, 90 days before you get the deed. And there are some people who say, well, put a sign as soon as you bought the property and go out and try selling it. They have very serious fines for putting a for sale sign on somebody else's property. Even though even though it is yours, you've paid for it, until you actually get the deed from the county. Especially with myself, I'm Canadian, buying in the States. I really want to be careful of the man, you know. It's not nice to start with a fine. So I didn't start marketing the properties until we got the deeds, which took 90 days.
Now, were they pretty prompt in getting you the deed finally? Did they get it right in 90 or?
They got it almost to the day on the 90th
so they were ready. Okay, well that's good to know. Okay, because I'm sure Crystal and Bob and people tell you sometimes they don't get the deed to you quick enough. Okay, all right. There's another challenge when you make these kind of deals, and so have you tried to sell them yet? Or
they've been marketed, and on Monday I got 10 calls on one of the properties.
How bad is that, right? All right. And so on the $1 million worth of properties, have you sort of forecast what you I know you can't do it exact. Have you forecast what you'll gross?
Our gross will be between $400,000 and $600,000.
Oh my God! Wow. Let's hear it for Renee, right? Man, that's great stuff. All right, so now there's one difficulty that nobody wants to talk about, and you're running into it now because the people are asking about it. So does this property have a clear title?
All of these 5 have clear titles.
Why do they have clear titles?
The foreclosure process, the county clears the title, so the mortgage, poof. Any other liens that are judgments, poof. The only ones that stay on are if there's a brush lien. One of the properties had one of those.
Let's explain it.
So what happens is that in LA County, if you don't cut the brush, the fire department will pay to have it cut, and then they'll put a lien for the payment for the cutting.
The brush is the fuel for a fire. Once a fire starts in California, the kids can't stop it. It just keeps going. So you got to keep everything cut all the time, or they'll come and cut it for you. because it's a fire hazard. And fire in California is like an earthquake. It's over. You can't stop it. You got to wait till it burns out. Okay, so that's good. And what about a quiet title action? Do you have to do that?
You don't necessarily have to, but you can. And Bob has a recommendation of somebody really good to use. And if I have to, I'll do that. If I want to hold the properties for longer, I can also get a mortgage on them. Lots of things that can happen. It all depends how fast you want to sell them. The faster you want to sell them, the lower your price, and the more marketing and more value you have to put into it.
Okay, good. Everybody write down quiet title action. Just write that down. And it's his name Ted Schumacher? Dave Schumacher is his name? And his Tax Title Services, still the company? TaxTitleServices.com. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Because if you do buy a property, he can get you the, help you with the clear title. All right. So you've had the success. I guess the question that comes to my mind is, have you forecast a day when you will be a millionaire?
Yes, and it's always tentative because it can happen faster or slower.
Okay, so let's say it happens slow.
We're looking sometime towards the end of next year.
Okay, I'm sure you guys are getting the idea that this is a good way to make money. All right, so I think I've pretty much answered all the questions that are up there. So I'm going to call it a day. If you want, there'll be a replay of all what we did today coming up, and I can't remember the date of that, but you guys might want to watch for that. So thanks for coming to the call. I appreciate all of you being here. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope to see you at some of the events. The guy you just saw was speaking at an event which was 6 weeks ago, and I didn't have time to do it, but one of the class members from 6 weeks ago came from Regina, Saskatchewan, and he called yesterday. No, he called the day before yesterday, and his name is Kelly. And Kelly said, "Ted, you're not going to believe this." And I said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "Well, I went to the class, I finished the class, and then I wanted to do it online, so I wanted to buy in Riverside, California. They just had their auction this week in Riverside a couple of days ago. And he spent $35,000 in the auction. And so my immediate question was, what's the property worth? He said it was worth $256,000. That all took place in the last 6 weeks. Renee, of course, bought at the auction a little earlier. He's just selling his, and he's starting to cash out. Okay, so I hope you guys do well. There it is. It's all right there in front of you. You just have to make up your mind you want to do it. So the rest is up to you. Bye.